Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be, no, it's daytime. Today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. All right. Okay. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say today. I'm all mixed up because if you watch any of my other readings, I usually record late at night, around 10, 11 o'clock. And so it's the middle of the day. I'm trying to do more during the day, just when I am able to. I'm trying to transition into a schedule of daytime reading, so I can start another channel. That's one of the things, but also so I can get more sleep. I need to start getting some sleep again. All right. And so you might be hearing some different sounds. It's a lot more ambient sounds. I live in farm country, basically. There's a lot of stuff that goes on outside. I don't notice it until the house is quiet, and then I'm like, oh wow, it's loud out there. Okay, so our card today is the Princess of Discs. Okay, I know I say they're all my favorite cards, but I love this card. It is such an energy of, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm a little biased, but it is such an energy of that kind of pregnant with life, Earth Mama, coming into deeper wisdoms, balancing the elements, kind of coming to that confidence and understanding about yourself, about your environment, where you are just realizing that you can make things happen, learning how to manifest, learning emotional security, okay, deep sexuality, and the big thing too, self-development, okay, innovation, all of these wonderful things. So let's see, I want to look at this one because it really does remind me so much of kind of a I'm trying to say it, how do I say, a person of the wilderness, kind of a beast of the wilderness, a person that may seem feral on the outskirts of society. And I say this because we have kind of a person that looks a little bit wild. This is what I look like when I wake up. My hair's all messed up, unkempt. But also we have kind of a tail here. So maybe wearing some kind of furs, maybe half human, half animal. But I feel like very primal, okay? And I think what this is, and this is not unlike, I always kind of lean towards, like Baba Yaga, kind of the old woman of the woods, the crone, right? Kind of, or maybe like the medicine person, some kind of shaman, an initiator, somebody who lives in the wilderness, of not only literally the wilderness, but of humanity, on the cusp of the in-between. Okay, somebody who walks into the spiritual realms easily, communes with animals, you know, lives kind of a life that is unconventional. May seem unrefined to some degree. But having this come up, it makes me think that there really is an urge to explore some of these places that take you away from all that you have developed really in your life, your persona, your identity, your personality. And yeah, all those things are kind of different, aren't they? How you get along in a public facing sense. You know, it's so bizarre to think, because so many of us exist, you know, we exist at home, we exist with our family, we exist in our workplaces, you know, socially, out in, you know, the towns and cities that we live in. And then also now there are these aspects of an online digital life, which is both really cool if you're into kind of crafting an artful persona, you know, but also it seems so it's such a strange thing to be a public figure, even just as a normal person, right? You're a public figure if you're on, you know, any social media. You have, you know, 5 followers. You're still a public figure of some kind. And however you choose to express yourself, or, you know, what your identity is like, there's a lot of thinking that goes into that, if we admit it to ourselves or not, right? Even if you were just out there keeping it real, just saying what it is, putting all of your stuff out, being transparent, or on the other side, it's super curated, you know, highly stylized, a real specific aesthetic, whatever, you know, whatever. I mean, in all the spectrum between. This is something that is new to our lives. I mean, we've never had such, you know, access to one another, and the ability to kind of put ourselves out there on this level. So I feel like it's only natural that we all have this instinct to kind of just get away from it. Go back to the swamp, right? Start again. Go live in a shack somewhere, you know, buy a van to drive around the world or country or whatever, you know, and live anonymously, to detach from all of that. And you know, realistically, I think it's about finding balances, finding ways to turn away from some of that stuff when you need to. I myself, although I'm here, you know, and I'm still sharing parts of myself, and of course, shout out to my husband, Devin Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul. You know, we allow a certain amount of access to ourselves and about our lives through our channels. We like, you know, we're both pretty, I would say, pretty simple, and try to be relatable. You know, we try to be just who we are. And but, you know, for me, this is, you know, I do this, but I have gotten off of other social media for a while. I'm on a cleanse again, and off of it for, you know, probably 6 months, I would say. I just it's the first, few weeks. But I've done it in my past, and I constantly have the urge to. I definitely am one of those people, I just delete everything and go into hiding for a few years at a time. Just because I like to be in control of my immediate perception of reality, or at least have a more organic experience, where it's not just, curating my life and thinking about, all these things that have nothing to do with me, and, just constantly immersed in that. It gets to be overwhelming. And now I'm not talking bad about it though, because I am a child of I love the internet. I love it. I love meme life. I love Tumblr so much. I like looking at art. I like, meeting different kinds of eccentric people and whatever. So, but I feel like there's definitely this vibe right now. In your life, you are kind of going into your little nesting period. Now, if you are actually pregnant or not, does not matter. I know nesting often is associated with newly married and pregnant. But we all go through stages of wanting to really focus on building ourselves a nice little place to be. Kind of immersing ourselves in our life right there. If that is getting more involved with your immediate community, your family. Or, we all kind of went through the restlessness of lockdown, and there's a lot of nesting going on then, right? Just kind of building a home, a place to live where we had as many comforts as we could, keeping ourselves, interested in things, and, hopefully not atrophying too much. And, I think that this makes sense. We're starting to go into new seasons. There's kind of this feeling of getting ready for that winter incubation. Or, on the other hand, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going into your summer. And this is a time where things, seeds are being sown. But you're also kind of, having to remind yourself to use your energy wisely. You don't want to burn out before the peak of your spring summer season has started, right? So just kind of be rationing your energies, I would say. But overall, I see we have an eye. Okay. And this is an interesting one, because it really is, it's a big eye, right? And I feel like there's really a place of knowing, of interest, of power emerging, a wholeness coming from this. Within that, there's a lot of anxiety, emotion, impulses, desires, whims taking you here and there. So I feel like the focus is on tempering self. Okay. And that's, if you have ever been pregnant, had a child or not, there's a lot of emotions. There are a lot of impulses that come. Your body is changing rapidly. But you have to keep in mind what is best for all, what is best for you, what is best for this life growing in you. And I think that this is true of ideas, of when we have big energies happening, when we have emotions happening, love is growing within us, right? New relationships, our family relationships, and I think Aries, you all are obviously very emotional people, but you're also very motivated to get going, right? You don't like to linger too much in any one thing. You like to keep it moving. So I think that, you know, when these two places combined, where there's a lot of energy, a lot of emotional potency, a lot of inspiration and life happening, you know, this idea of really trying to go a little bit slower than you instinctually would, you know, slowing yourself down, pumping the brakes a little bit. I also think that with this eye, I see that there's a lot of attention to detail. You're really noticing things. This is a good time to maybe keep like a journal, or like just have a little thing where you can write down some of your little ideas, some of the things that you're sensing, the impressions that you're having. I think that this will be really useful when you get into a more detailed or developed creative mode. It's just, I feel like, you know, when you go out and kind of gather materials for something, you know, there's so many times I like to work with natural materials when I'm making spiritual devices and objects. So there are a lot of times I go out and I will find things, you know, that I will store and use later on, and kind of this hunter-gatherer kind of mode. So I think that, you know, for you, with this richness of inspiration and emotion, it's a wonderful time to, you know, kind of really gather those things for when you're ready to weave them together into something larger. Okay, and then here I'm seeing a person standing, and it looks like they're kind of teaching. I get this feeling that you have been or will be in a mode of kind of looking after young ones or younger people, somehow involved. Maybe at work you are training somebody or a group of people. You know, maybe you are in childcare or you're a teacher. Whatever it is, I think that really you are a natural teacher. You are somebody who is an ever explorer, ever learner yourself. But I think that you have an ability to speak to people in a way that they understand, and they are very receptive to it. I also think that you feel very safe. You're somebody that makes people feel like they're coming into a place of being heard, you know, being, your attention is on them, okay? And also just an ease of being around an energy like you have. And that's so important, isn't it? We remember those kinds of people and those teachers. I think about that all the time. Like when I go to the store, there are certain people that are like cashiers and stuff. I go right to them if I see them, not only because, you know, they're nice and, you know, I enjoy them, but they make me feel safe. Their energy. And I will always I will always seek out people that I kind of, because I have like social anxiety, always seek out people that kind of give me an atmosphere of perceived safety and just an ease, you know, of being able to be my awkward self around them. Okay, and so I just wanted to show we have a Z or an S, and then we have a T right here. So maybe those are important letters for you. Let's see. Oh, we have a sailboat. Nice. Okay, so we have a little sailboat. We do have some emotional waters, a little bit of anxiety maybe here and there, but I do think that it is sailing on a perfectly sunny, a little bit of breeze, perfect amount of wind to get you across where you're going, okay? A lovely day. I really feel like things just feel right. Okay. No big problems coming about. A little bit of existential stuff, maybe thinking about taking that break from the world a little bit, maybe socializing too much, or, or like I said, having to take care of our personas on the internet, but also having to take in other people's personas. That can be very tiring. I always say we should all have our little vacations from the internet, from not the internet, but from social media particularly, especially where we know people in real life, and then they're on these social medias, only because sometimes it's hard to see what people are like in a place where they feel more anonymous. It's also hard to just always be kind of conscious of like what you are saying and sharing with people that you know you might be interacting with. And people can be difficult. I'll just say that. All right. So this is the lightness of being affirmation cards, and this is the earth element there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of split it right in here. Okay, and we have some pretty flowers. We'll turn this. It says forgiveness, peace, retell the past with compassion and gratitude. Healing sacred wounds. Okay, I could talk about this forever, but I will just say, one of the past readings we had this last week, we were talking about having more compassion for like our parents, because they most of us are just doing our best, not just parents, but just in life, right? Most of us don't know what the heck we're doing. Right? We just don't. Most of us are not good at the things that we set our minds on doing. Not a lot of people are trained to be parents. Not a lot of people are trained to be, siblings or children, family members. So we make mistakes, and some of us double down on those mistakes, and it can really end up affecting people in deeply negative ways, hurtful ways, even traumatically, okay? And I get that for sure. With my own history, which I've talked about on other readings here, I definitely know what it is to, have abuse, different kinds of abuses, neglect, and a lot of loss in my life. But I've found that the only way that I've been able to find any kind of control and healing in my life is to look at some of these things that have happened and the people who have been part of these situations, and try to see them as human beings that are fully flawed. I mean, they're, they not fully, but greatly flawed, and that does not dismiss their behaviors. It doesn't make it okay. It still destroyed a lot of parts of my life. But I don't carry around the same amount of emotional terror, misery. It comes up. It's not ever going to go away. But I truly feel like if we can, and let me just say, this is the other thing I want to add. Please, if you have access to counseling, therapy, especially if it has to do with trauma, go to a professional, okay? Find somebody, a support system, group therapy. The cat is in here, by the way. Hello, Pudgy. Find somebody who can help support your healing journey, okay? If you have the privilege of having that kind of access. But, you know, one way or another, we have to try to, if we want to heal, as this says, retell your past with compassion and gratitude. You know, it doesn't have to be about anything negative or trauma or whatever, but I really have had to focus on, you know, those things, because those are big things that overshadow my life. And, you know, just finding your power within your own story, where you maybe felt, you know, powerless, especially as a child. Another thing I talk a lot about on these readings, and I'll wrap this up soon, I promise, but is going back and doing that inner child work, going and finding that inner child in those scenarios, in those situations where you felt neglected, unheard, powerless, you know, these places that really nobody showed up for you. Okay, and we all have them. If you had a perfect childhood, or you know, a really good one, or if you had, you know, just a really difficult life, you know, we all have those moments. And going back and being there for that child version of you, hearing them, nurturing them, telling them it wasn't their fault. It isn't, you know, nothing they did. This had to do with other people and other people's, you know, feelings, behaviors, whatever. And it might sound silly, but re-raising yourself. No more. Go on now. Oh. Going back there and re-raising yourself where you've had these kinds of pain. And, you know, this is a lifelong work. But I do think even just using active imagination, visualization, self-talk, these things can help. But again, if you have access to a support system, a support group, you know, a professional, a licensed professional, that is all the better, definitely. Okay, Aries, this little card, it really got me going. I want to thank you so much, and I am so excited that I got to do this reading for you. I'm excited for the next ones I get to do for you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and the algorithm really kind of decides everything about what happens with this channel. So we like to make it happy with engagement, and those are things like liking the video, sharing the readings on other social media, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. You don't have to do any of these things, but it really does help. So I like to mention them in case you feel like you want to help support the channel in some way. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read all of them. I reply back to all of them. Sometimes it takes me a day or two just because there are a lot of them, and you know, life is busy. But I want to thank you again. We will talk in just a few days. Lots of love.